So what's the role of beavers in landscapes? We're in the Lower Rhine. What can we see here, Wouter?
Well, this is a tree cut by beavers. That could have been everywhere in this area because we have 14 families of beaver in this area, in this floodplain. And they cut dozens of trees every week, actually, and making a more open, grazed forest like you see here.
But then what happens when it floods?
Yeah, the impact of beavers is much more diverse than people think. So with the flood, they have to swim on higher levels through the forest. And then you can see things like here, that when the water is at this level, they cut the tree on this level. But that could also be 6-7 meters higher at the highest floods.
Wow.
When we have to find their food there. And here, for example, this is an old one, but here you can see new beaver tracks of the last flood 2 weeks ago. So this whole forest, as you see here, is actually created by beavers on different levels of floods.
Oh wow! So it's sort of pollarded almost, and then it's regrown from the pollard, and then you can see it's recut. So, but that explains where they feed. So where do they sleep?
Same story, also on different levels. So normally at this level they have their low water burrows where they have their families. But when water comes up, then the burrow, they have high water burrows at 4 or 5 meters higher. But during the highest floods, which are over 10 meters higher here,
at the top of the trees,
then they don't make a burrow because there's no land to do that. Then they make platforms in the top of the trees.
Like a nest.
And cut the trees on that level. You see on all these levels, you see beaver impact. Creating actually an open forest, whereas if there were no beavers, there was just a more closed canopy one.
So we're used to thinking of beavers engineering it by flooding areas, but here they're massively changing it by grazing.
Absolutely, yeah.